If you've always been fascinated by finger detangling and it's a technique you would love to learn, I would say learn it. It is very good, especially if you have delicate strands. It helps to preserve your thickness, and it helps with, just learning how to be patient and gentler with your hair. But while finger detangling is highly beneficial, it also has its cons, and I've had to learn how to recognize those cons, to accept and find a balance to ensure the optimal health of my hair. Because there was a point in my hair journey when I was solely finger detangling, and that's when I really was exposed to both the positive and negative side of finger detangling, and is the reason why I believe I still need to go in with a comb. So some of the cons I recognize while solely finger detangling is that I still end up having a lot of shed hairs in my hair, especially at the roots, which makes my roots look more puffy and the rest of my hair looks a bit thinner. I know that my hair is a mix of 4C and 4B, which makes it a bit more prone, but I realized that the tendency of my hair becoming frizzy and fuzzy increased. I also was becoming tired of spending long hours detangling my hair, because if you don't know, when you're solely finger detangling, it takes a lot more time. Finger detangling is not like trying to get a comb through your hair where everything is gathered in one place and you can just use the comb and try to go through everything together. With finger detangling, it is as if you are working with individual strands. So you are separating one strand at a time, sometimes, a few strands at a time, and that quickly becomes tedious and very time consuming. So for the past 2 or 3 years now, my balance has been to finger detangle mostly, but to go in with a comb at least once a month. And I've set that once a month to be whenever I'm taking down my long-term protective style. So though sometimes I don't necessarily take down my protective style exactly in 1 month, I can go 6 weeks, and I may even try to go beyond that sometimes. But the rule for me now is whenever I'm taking down a long-term protective style, I will go in with a comb to make sure I'm getting out all the accumulated shed hairs. But anytime outside of that, I just stick to my fingers to minimize breakage or minimize over manipulating my hair with a comb. The way we preach moisture is like nothing else besides moisture is important. You can click on any hair growth video right now, and if moisture is not one of the top tips, then it'll almost feel like that person doesn't know what they're talking about, because we prioritize moisture so much, and nothing is wrong with that, because believe me, moisture is important. But what I've had to learn is that a balance between moisture and protein is even more important. Sometimes I regret having to learn it the hard way, but what else could I have expected, being a girly that was so obsessed with moisture that I was literally sleeping in conditioners just so my hair could feel moisturized and have that dark wet look that a lot of us consider to be moisturized hair. However, it wasn't just an obsession with moisture, but it was also a lack of information and a bit of laziness why I ended up with moisture overload. I really didn't believe that anything negative could have happened to my hair, and I really thought that just sleeping with it and washing it out in the morning would just be a normal thing without any consequences. But guys, our hair is made up of proteins. They are what gives our hair structure, strength, and the reason why our hair have that ability to shrink and stretch. In other words, elasticity. Avoiding protein treatments because you think that your hair is protein sensitive or they're not as important as moisturizing products can lead to weaker hair that's more prone to breakage, premature shedding, and of course damage. Just like proteins are the building blocks of our bodies, they help us heal, they help with repairs, they help with immune function, they help to build strong healthy muscles. That's the same with our hair. When we are neglecting protein, we are essentially stripping our hair of the building blocks it needs to thrive. Next up is I learned to prioritize the health of my scalp the same way I prioritize the health of my hair. Starting out, all I really cared about was to grow my hair. I just wanted long, healthy hair. Without knowing that to achieve that, I would need to pay attention to my scalp. And paying attention meant doing things like scalp massages, observing the ingredients in my shampoos, and even in my conditioners too, because even though you had conditioner to your hair, sometimes when you're rinsing it off it will touch your scalp, so you do have to pay attention to the ingredients in your conditioners as well. Also meant figuring out the best time to wash my hair, not too much and not too little, and also not too late, because sometimes we leave our hair in styles and buildup is accumulating and we're ignoring it, and over time this can throw off our scalp pH, mess with our scalp balance, and lead to things like dandruff, itchiness, and even seborrheic dermatitis. So learning all these things has really helped me with keeping my scalp healthy. Lastly, I learned to prioritize doing my own research and not following people's routine blindly. Within my 8 years of being natural, I have messed up my hair about twice following people's routine, and I don't blame them. I actually blame myself because I should have done more research and make sure that what I'm doing is actually for my hair. So the first instant was with rice water, and I might not be the only person guilty when it comes down to rice water, but guys, I wanted to grow my hair so bad in the earliest stages, and I did jump on that trend only to end up with crispy dry hair that was breaking severely. However, I did manage to fix it by just twisting up my hair, giving it a lot of moisture, and just leaving it alone. I did learn the hard way from that experience, and I have never tried rice water again since that instant. The next instant, guys, was when I had moisture overload. The idea came from one of my favorite YouTubers. She actually does it frequently and it doesn't harm her hair. But when I started to do it, I ended up with moisture overload. I learned a hard lesson, and to this day my hair has still not fully bounced back. So it teaches me that you can see people who you enjoy listening to, you enjoy watching doing something. It doesn't mean that that thing is for your hair. So you have to go ahead, do your research, and figure it out. Don't just blindly do things you see people doing, because it might not work for you. And that sums it up for this video, guys. Those are the, I believe, 4 things. I wasn't really counting, but yeah, those are the few very important things that I've learned along my journey, and I hope you guys will take something from all that I've said so that you don't make the same mistakes I made. With that said, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.